Globally, food waste is a much bigger problem than people generally realize. $2.6 trillion a year worth of food goes to waste. And Marc with Winnow Solutions and Barney with Karakuri, both of you guys are tackling this problem from different angles. Marc, what are the primary considerations you find when you're talking to customers about Winnow Solutions and the use cases they're looking for?
The sort of key sweet spot for us is any kitchen that prepares food in advance of customers coming in. And what we find is that they throw away anywhere between about 10 to 20% of what they buy throughout the entire process. By implementing Winnow and our technology, we help them cut that food waste in half. That delivers a number of benefits. It delivers cost-saving benefits, which clearly justifies the business case. It also delivers environmental benefits around doing the right thing, and it makes their kitchen more efficient overall.
Barney, your considerations from these early customers?
We're really in the business of trying to optimize the way that the food that's produced is used. So wastage comes from inaccurate forecasting of where it's got to be used, how it's going to be used, when it needs to be prepared, where it's stored, and how ultimately it gets prepared and put in front of the customer at the end of the day. And if we can look at that process all the way through and we can get data out of that and understand how people are using it, you can optimize it and you can reduce waste across the entire process.
Well, and one of the things that you're doing is understanding the whole workflow in production of food and introducing automation at select points and increasing automation where you can add more efficiencies. What's a typical example of how you're doing that?
So a really good example of that is one of our first products deals with a canteen service. So any kind of restaurant where you might queue up in a line and pick some meat, some vegetables, some cheese, some things that go together in a bowl, in a box, in a salad, anything like that. We can deal with the way that that's served automatically. That gives a lot of data about what's actually being consumed and how it goes through. And from a consumer's point of view, you can be very specific about not just some meat or some cheese or some salad. You can be very specific about the exact quantities that you want. And once a restaurant starts to profile that and understand that, you can really drive efficiency and cut down waste.
You guys look at it from a sort of automation perspective, and clearly that's going to be a trend that will continue to grow. Where we are is looking at how do we augment the decision-making of the chefs that are actually in the kitchen, right? And so what we're doing is we're using computer vision to monitor exactly what's being thrown away. To do that, we train a model to identify food waste that's going into the bin. That gives us a value on what's being thrown away. It gives us detail on exactly what it is and why was it thrown away. Was it because there was too much food that sort of they prepared that sort of wasn't eaten, and ultimately then reduce food waste by half.
How do you tackle customers' concerns around capital commitments?
In most cases, we look at it as a low capex, OPEX business. So people really look for an ROI in a fixed period of time. And most of our customers, if they're looking at buying something, will want an ROI within 12 to 18 months of their investment. Or where we're looking at other models where we provide our technology out as a service, they look at their operational expense on a monthly basis with and without the equipment that we can provide. If we make an operational saving with that equipment in there, and that operational saving can be in terms of labor cost or input costs, the food, the raw materials that's going into the restaurant, then it becomes a very simple decision for them to take to deploy what we build.
We take a similar approach. So we have options where customers can buy the equipment or they pay sort of a recurring fee based on the licenses with that. I think the really exciting thing about food waste is that the return on investment is fantastic. Our customers are getting anywhere between a 200% to a 1,000% return within the first year alone. And even just a couple of percentage points onto that bottom line can mean a huge improvement in profitability for the business.